Welcome back. In this lecture, we will try to understand pluralist theory of democracy. Right? Pluralist theory of democracy. We have seen elitist theory of democracy in the last lecture, whereby I explained you how elite in democracy consolidate power with views of Robert Michels and Raymond Aron. Right? Robert Michels and Raymond Aron. Pluralist theory pluralist theory want to give solution want to give solution for this want to give solution for this, right? Pluralist theory want to address limitations of elitist theory of democracy, elitist theory of power, right? Pluralist, right? Pluralist. Again, word etymology, word analysis has to be done. Pluralist. Who are plural? Elite. Elite are plural. Plural elite, plural elite having power is pluralist theory of democracy. Plural but plural elite. Pluralist theory of democracy, right? This is a behavioral or empirical. This is behavioral or empirical method of studying democracy, right? Right. The pluralist theory was essentially critique of of concept of power elite, concept of power elite, power elite, right? Concept of power elite was given by this scholar C.W. Mills. C.W. Mills. This is also a part of elite theory of power, elite theory of democracy. Power elite. What does this mean? What does power elite mean? Power elite mean persons who hold who hold positions in key institutions. These are power elites, key institutions. Example, example. Let's say uh, army general in USA, chief of FBI, CIA, right? Secretaries. These are power elites, right? These are power elites. And C.W. Mills say that essential decision making in a democracy is done by power elite, not people, right? Power elite, not people, right? To explain this, he gives example of Eisenhower calling US a military industrial complex. Eisenhower called America a military industrial complex, right? He calls America military industrial complex, right? And what is military industrial complex? It is basically industrial society which has big military production and big industrial production. And C.W. Mills say that key decisions are taken by key institutional holders holders of military industrial complex. Right? The key decisions are taken by institution holders of military industrial complex, for which C.W. Mills give example of US dropping nuclear bombs on Japan in 1946. This decision was taken by power elite, not the common people of America. Not the common people of America. Right? So this is the idea. This is the idea. Right? What he wants to say that basically in USA, power lies with power elite, not not the people of America. Right? Power lies with power elite, not the people of America. The key decisions are taken by them. He explains that initially the democracy was there, initially democracies was there, but eventually with crises like civil war, depression, right, world wars, power got concentrated. Right? And power got concentrated in government positions. Government positions. And when power got concentrated in government positions, people did not have choosing those representatives, not beyond that. All the rest of the decisions were taken by those power elite. Right? In contemporary times, you must have deep state. Right? Deep state. Deep state is state behind state, or state control, but has a lot of power in its hands. Right? Again, I again give reference to that meme, of that puppet meme. Right? Let's say this is government of India. It has strings. Strings are pulled by someone else. Right? These strings are pulled by someone else. Then there is someone else who is pulling these strings. Strings are pulled by other people. Right? Government visibly has power, but the real power lies with the string pullers. Right? This is called as deep state. State within state, state which is not visible but has real power. Right? So for example, army in Pakistan, army in Pakistan is deep state. Right? Tech giants in America is deep state. Right? Real power lies with them. This is concept of power elite, which effectively suggests that power lies with the elite of the country, not with the people, not with anyone else. Right? This is the concept of power elite. Now, this concept of power elite, the concept of deep state, that power lies with key position in key government institutions, and all the decisions are taken by them. This was criticized by Robert Dahl in his pluralist theory of democracy, pluralist theory of power. Right? As I was saying, it is a criticism of concept of power elite. So pluralist theory of democracy, what it basically wants to say, that that pluralist, there are multiple, there are plural power elite, which among which power is distributed. Right? This is the idea. Where C.W. Mills say that there exists a power elite, which from Raymond Aron we can understand is like a monolithic entity. But Robert Dahl says that it is not monolithic entity, but it is a fractured elite. Right? So power, again I will again write, pluralist theory of power or democracy. Pluralist. Pluralist. Plural means multiple. right? Plural means multiple, pluralist with respect to multiple elite which are simultaneously in power, right? Multiple elites which are simultaneously is in power, right? This is the idea behind pluralist theory of power. This pluralist theory of power was given by Robert Dahl. Robert Dahl, as we know, is one of the intellectual forefather of behavioralism. So the method of analysis, method of research that will be conducted by Robert Dahl is going to be behavioral, right? And in his paper, in his paper, who governs, who governs, he has analyzed diffusion of power among different groups in America, right? In America. So Robert Dahl suggests that before that we have to understand what is the study. So he conducts this study, who governs, at this place New Haven in, I am not going to pronounce it, but Connecticut, whatever this is, Connecticut, USA, right? Connecticut, USA. He performed this study, and he has came up with some observation. He has performed a behavioral study and has come up with some observations. So the first observation he gives in his observation or his study, that US is a vibrant democracy, right? He starts with this. He basically rejects the CW Mills idea of power elite, that power is concentrated within few key positions, right? He basically rejects that idea, and he says that US is a vibrant democracy. US is a place which has functioning democracy, competitive party system, free and fair elections, right? And he suggests active participation of people is there in US politics, right? How do you actively participate, especially with respect to US politics? There are lobbies. What is lobbying? I will explain to you. There are pressure groups. We'll start with pressure groups from the next lecture, and there are interest groups as well. Right? Active participation of people is there. Now, Robert Dahl says that pressure groups, interest groups, these groups hold real power. Real power lies with pressure groups and interest groups. Right? There are multiple pressure groups, multiple interest groups in US politics. According to Dahl, these have power, and he suggests that American democracy is polyarchy, right? Polyarchy. I will explain this. You don't have to worry about it. Right? American democracy is polyarchy. American democracy is polyarchy. What is polyarchy? What is polyarchy? Again, go back to the meaning of the word poly and archy. Archy, as we know, it is rule, and poly is multiple. Multiple people ruling over a small place or a place, right? It's not really small place, but at a place. Multiple people ruling over a place. Polyarchy and democracy and oligarchy are two very similar terms, right? But with oligarchy, you refer to people. With polyarchy, you refer to groups, right? Pressure groups. In polyarchy, pressure groups have power. In oligarchy, persons have power. Oligarch is a person who has disproportionate amount of money with him. He is oligarch. But polyarchy is with respect to again, take a step back, try to understand what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that US in US, power elite do not exist as was explained by CW Mills. CW Mills say that power elite exists, and CW Mills say that all the power is. On the other hand, Dahl says that this is not true. The real power lies with pressure groups. Pressure groups, the power lies lying with pressure group. He explained it to be polyarchy, that multiple pressure groups having equal power in a democratic system, right? Polyarchy. To explain this concept of polyarchy, he suggests that polyarchy is approximate democracy. It is not fully democracy. How it is approximate democracy, I will explain, do not worry. Right? It is approximate democracy because it is a mix of democracy plus oligarchy. What is democracy? Power, rule of people, right? I will keep it as simple as possible, rule of people. What is oligarchy? Rule of few wealthy individuals. And what is polyarchy? Polyarchy is child of both democracy and oligarchy. I will take element of few here. Few groups, few groups having large number of people, few groups having large number of people have power, right? Pressure groups have power is polyarchy, right? It is polyarchy, right? As I was saying, power lies with pressure groups. Polyarchy, it is mix of both oligarchy and democracy. Few pressure groups having power with them, right? What he wants to say that power in this situation still lies with people. Power in this situation still lies with people, right? Real power is with people, but real power is not with people as individual people, right? Power is not with individuals as was in oligarchy. Power is with pressure groups. What are pressure groups? Pressure groups are groups of people having similar interest, right? So power lies with group of people, not with individuals as in oligarchy, but with group of people, right? So power lies with pressure group, and Dahl says that power 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 is equally distributed among these pressure groups, right? Power is equally distributed among these pressure groups. Power is equally distributed among these pressure groups. Power is equally distributed among these pressure groups, right? And Hull says that it is true that power to some extent lies with elites. A lot of power is with elites. Extraordinary decisions will be taken by elites, right? He says that extraordinary decisions will be taken by elites, but decisions of day-to-day life are by pressure groups. Are by pressure groups. This is the idea. So, as we were seeing political parties, right? We have seen Robert Mitchell's, we have seen Raymond Aron. Both of them say that power lies with political parties. With pluralist analysis of power, with pluralist analysis of democracy, people as individuals, but people polyarchy, multiple pressure groups having power equally distributed among them. This is the idea, right? Right. This is the idea. Extraordinary decisions still take by power elite, but this is the idea behind neo pluralist idea of state. Neo pluralist idea of no, sorry, not neo pluralist, but pluralist theory of power, pluralist idea of democracy. Right? This is the idea. I hope you understood this. It was essentially a criticism of C.W. Mill's concept of power elite, whereby C.W. Mill say that power lies with few elite who hold key institutions in government, and Robert Dahl says in his theory of pluralism that power equally is distributed among pressure groups, and not all power is given to key government positions, but pressure groups also have some power with them, and in that way normal people also have some power with them. This is the idea. This is the idea of polyarchy and pluralist theory of democracy, pluralist theory of power as given by Robert Dahl. Thank you so much. Bye bye.